kindergartners. Well, today we have a little bit of printing to do with letter X. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And a little bit of math. And then when you're done, you can work on some memory pages. But after that, we don't have any homework on Monday because it's a special holiday. It's a holiday called Memorial Day. And often on Memorial Day, we remember people who have fought in wars to keep us free. They might have been in the Army, the Navy, Air Force, Marines, and they helped protect this country from people who wanted to do harm. So we remember people who have given their lives for us so that we can live in this wonderful place and have freedoms like we do. We can also remember people who have passed away, like grandmas and grandpas or other family members. So it's kind of a day to remember people who have died, who have been special in our lives. And sometimes people view this as kind of the start of summer. Almost. We're not quite to summer, but there sure isn't much left of school, boys and girls. So work hard today. You have a break on Monday, and we'll come back on Tuesday for just one more time. So for now, let's talk about letter X. Now, X is not a letter that often begins words. We usually find X in the middle or at the end, like in box. An X makes a X sound, kind of like a K and an S put together. Can you say box? And then listen for that X sound at the end. Now, printing X isn't very hard. Often we make X's to show where things are. So I have a feeling making X will be just practice for you and not something new. So in this lesson, you're going to need to have your pencil, the papers that are listed for today, glue and scissors, and maybe crayons, but you might do that later after we shut the video off. So can you grab those things, scissors, glue, pencil, and your papers for today, and come to my workspace and we'll get started. Here we go. Past the Super Kids onto my workspace. Now I just thought for fun, this might be a fun way to show you what X can do for a word. And this is a dot to dot. I'll get my camera all set so it's not so wiggly and so it's a little closer to these letters. Now, when I look at what I have written down on this paper, it sure doesn't look like a word. Right now it just says wah. But what happens if I add an X? It says wax. Wax. Wax makes things shiny and new, like if you put wax on your car or wax on the floor. And there is where we can use an X. Now this can be a word by itself and say but if I add X, axe, axe. Now I have a word. Try this one. Ba isn't a word by itself, but if I add an X, now I have box. Box. Let's try another one. Yeah. Well, that's not a word by itself, but if I add an X, now I have fix. Fix. All of those had an X at the end of the word. This next one has it kind of in the middle. Let's sound out what we know so far. N-at. Well, it would say net, but there's a space right here. Now let's see what it says. Next. Next. Well, that changed things quite a bit. By itself is not a word, but if I add an X, now what word do I have? Right, ox. And I have one more. Right now it says si. But if I add an X, now what does it say? Six. Six. Well, let's see what happens when I put this dot to dot together. I'll start at the top. Let's say the words as I go past them with the dots. Wax, axe, box, fix, next, ox, six, and what did we make? The letter 6. I thought that might be just a fun way to review the letter X and to show you how it is used in words. Now we're just going to need a pencil because I'm going to flip this over to show you your work for today. Please put your name at the top, right around there. And it is May 22nd, so we're going to do this work today. Now X is just 2 big slides. We start at the strawberry line and slide all the way down to the chocolate. Now I say slide because it goes at an angle or diagonal. And then I'm going to frog jump straight up and make another slide going the other way. So it crisscrosses. Can you do this one in the sky with your Magic Skywriter? Start at strawberry, slide down to your chocolate, frog jump straight up, and now slide down the other way to chocolate. Very good. Have you ever heard the term X marks the spot on a treasure map? Well, we are making X's to mark our spots. So it's a crisscross, and you want to make sure that our lines are spaced. If you get them too close together, it's not going to look like an X. And if I go too far apart, it won't look like an X either. So if I end down here, I frog jump straight up, and then I slide down to the chocolate. Well, on this line, you're going to do uppercase X. And it will look like this. When you have your black dot, start at the strawberry and slide down to chocolate. Frog jump straight up, and then we slide the other way. So when we're done with this video, you can finish this line of X's. And lowercase x looks just the same, except it doesn't touch strawberry at all. Start at vanilla, little slide to chocolate, frog jump straight up, little slide to the chocolate again. So you can finish this row of lowercase x's, and then there's a line for you to do lowercase x, uppercase X, lowercase x, all the way across this line. And now let's look at these sentences, and we'll read them together. P-ick, pick, a, b-ox, box, pick a box, f-ix, fix, it, up, fix it up. Have you ever had a box big enough for you to fit inside? You can make it like a little fort, or you could turn it into a castle. Sometimes it's really fun to make a box into your special place. Sometime I hope you might be able to do that. I bet that's what this sentence is talking about. Pick a box. Fix it up. Now, after you trace these two sentences, then you are going to write them down here. P-ick, This gives us practice writing some of these letters that we've been working on. Don't forget those finger spaces. We need to always remember them. If all these letters got jumbled together, it would be very hard to read. So we have to make sure that there's a space between. This is the end of a sentence, so we need a period. And now we're going to write fix it up right down here. It, X, there's our X. Finger space, it, finger space, up, and a period. So boys and girls, you can do this on your own to finish it up in a little bit, but I do want to show you the next paper. It looks like this. Practice page 47, and it says due on May 22nd. Please put your name right here. Now at the top, there's a place for you to write in the X's that are missing. The first one's been done for us. Let's read this one. Ox, ox. If we put an X right here, remember this is the strawberry vanilla chocolate. And we're going to start the vanilla for lowercase x. Axe, axe. B-a, put an X. X, box. F-a-x, fox. We'll put an X and we'll read the word S-ix, six. You may have noticed the empty boxes at the top. That's because at the bottom of this paper, there are pictures. And this is why I asked you to make sure you had scissors and glue, because these pictures need to get cut out and then glued above the word, right up here. Now I have most of these pictures cut. I just have one last snip. I've cut on the dotted line, and I finished cutting them out. If you want to, you can snip off these little edges. We don't need those. And let's just do one together. And then I'll make sure that you know what the other pictures are showing. So what number is this, everybody? You're right, it is a 6. Hey, some of you are 6 years old. You know all about 6. And very soon, Eli will be 6. He actually has a birthday on Monday. So when we don't have a lesson to do, it'll be Eli's birthday. So we'll have to make sure we say, "Happy birthday, Eli," and we'll ask you on Tuesday how your birthday was. We hope you do something special. Well, which one of these words up here says 6? Which one? The last one? You are right. So you can put glue right here, and we'll put our 6 right above the word. Now I want to make sure you know what each of these pictures is. So I will tell you, this is a fox, and then an ox, an axe, and a box. So you can cut the rest of these pictures out and then glue them above the correct word. So you now have some work time, and I'll let you get busy. I hope you have a great weekend. Have a happy birthday, Eli. And boys and girls, I will see you again on Tuesday.